right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday. Is it Monday? It's Monday, November 23rd. You're watching the program. My name is Robbie Coates. In the studio is my co-host and co-founder of the WERV network, the Victrix.
How do we do, Rob?
Pretty good, Victrix.
And America. And America. How do we do, Rob, in America?
I hope America's doing good. Hope America's doing well. We're here to provide a little bit of inspiration for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start with something. Start with that a little bit. Victrix, while we were talking before the show, I was doing a little rocket science. Would you like to hear my conclusion, Victrix? I was calculating some numbers.
I watched you there. I was wondering what you were doing. And I heard a lot of oof, oof, oops.
Yeah, a lot of astonishment.
Yeesh. I heard a lot of astonishment. What do you have for us?
Well, basically, I did a calculation, an interesting calculation, something that I have been saying on the interwebs for some time. Although I've been using data that wasn't something I heard on the news that I didn't go and do myself. I didn't verify. I remember saying something like 1 in 19 million chance of dying of coronavirus, like overall odds of dying of coronavirus and only coronavirus alone. This is something that I admittedly repeated without looking up myself, but it doesn't matter. The data is just, I looked up all this stuff myself, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to die of coronavirus and only coronavirus and nothing but coronavirus, so help you coronavirus, nothing else on your death certificate, no comorbidities. That's only happened 28,000 times, roughly, 28,751 times in the United States of America since the beginning of all this, over the course of nearly a year. 28,000. So anyway, if using that data, I was able to calculate very simply that your odds of dying in the United States of America, just in the United States of America, of coronavirus, not based on any age group or anything like that, is about 1 in 11,400. And the odds of winning $1 million on Florida Lottery's new $30 scratch-off card, the fastest road to $1 million, which has incredible odds. Incredibly, I mean, the odds are fantastic as far as winning $1 million goes. They are 1 in 270,017, and the ratio there is a factor of 23.75 about. So you're roughly 24 times more likely to die of coronavirus than you are to win $1 million in the lottery. Now, I was hoping, and have been saying that you're more likely to win the $1 million than you are coronavirus. But folks, when you're talking a difference of an order of 10. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. And it makes more sense, but it's still stupid. It makes more sense that you're more likely to die of this stupid nonsense cold than you are to win $1 million. But how much more likely, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the answer is basically not more likely at all. You're 25. Look, you're 24 times more likely to die of coronavirus than you are to win $1 million. Those are basically the same odds, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to tell you, I'm ashamed to show you my stack of these scratch-off tickets, these ones in particular that I'm telling you about that are losers. I have been trying to win this $1 million, and I've been unsuccessful. Folks, I'm not trying to go out and get sick. I don't think anyone goes out and tries to get sick. Victrix.
Well, let me ask you something, because I know we're kind of close. Our bunkers are close in coordination here. Have you seen a lot of ambulances on the road, and have you seen people just going nuts like in the movie Outbreak?
I haven't, and I have been looking. I really have. That's a very, very astute observation that you make, Victrix, because you would think that if this were some sort of global emergency, that there would at least be some emergency vehicles on the road responding to all these emergencies.
Well, the Democratic cities are trying to shut everything down and get everybody to go against each other. They think they can sick the police force on people and the sheriffs, and the sheriffs in a lot of these places like Oregon and Chicago and California, they're saying
Are
if
they
you call
finally not
nine,
going to do it?
they're saying that if you call 911 and say there's a family of more than 7 or 10 next door, can you come see them? That they're going to say, "Have a nice evening, ma'am," and hang up on them. So that's what's going to happen. I'm sure there's some officers that are like, just like the crooked governors and mayors, they feel empowered and they're going to go busting everybody they can. And some guy on a boat 20 miles offshore, no mask, 5 years.
Yeah, I like the beach. I don't know what I would do if I lived far away from the beach. So go, on the beach around here in this undisclosed location in Florida. There are occasionally still people wearing masks on the freaking beach with the warm sea breeze blowing in. I mean, there's been some tropical storms out there, a hurricane or two, and kicking up waves. I swear, when the wind, I mean, even after one of these storms and the wind is coming in, there was a lady on the beach right by the water, and I was strolling by. We were the only people within 500 feet of each other. I mean, and I was just walking by, and she's just got her mask on, looking at the water. Walk by, we look at each other, and I say, "It must be coming in from offshore, huh?" I just keep walking. She looked at me like I was a dick, but I was trying to be. So,
Well, just like the red tide here in Florida, it's coming from Big Sugar. Maybe the coronavirus is being processed down at the Big Sugar plants in Florida. And coronavirus is a byproduct of that. And maybe they're dumping coronavirus into Naples, Florida down there. And
okay.
that's what's causing all the red tide.
Well, look, if that were the case, you would think that I would need to wear a mask on the beach too. Then, otherwise, I'd get sick, right? Otherwise,
Wait,
I'd
wait,
have
wait,
corona.
wait, wait, wait! Don't. And then we'll call Red Tide. We'll call Rick Scott Red Tide Rick. And everybody will know that if we call him Red Tide Rick, that he's responsible for it.
So, are you saying that Red Tide Rick could potentially end coronavirus too? It would be just as easy,
Well,
right? He would just have to go dump something. What? This is
well,
this.
Democrats said that we got to get DeSantis out of office and we have to get Rick Scott out of
I
office.
imagine they're not very happy with either of them. I imagine they're not very happy with either of them. I wasn't very happy with either of them at the beginning. I mean, DeSantis more than Rick Scott, but
Now, it turns out, what? Once these guys figured it out, they figured it out, and they want their state working. Other places where you have people like Lori Lightfoot and
fuckface.
Governor Newsom in California.
Yeah, Lizard Man.
These people, they are power trip people. You heard Biden just yesterday with his governor's meeting. It looked like the Brady Bunch. He had like 25 people up on a screen.
Actually, I was busy
And
yesterday. I didn't see that.
I don't think anybody knew even what was going on. And if anybody really believed what Biden was saying, but
well, so what did he say? What did Biden do yesterday?
well,
What kind of mumbo jumble? What kind of gibberish came out of his
he
mouth
was
yesterday?
sure to talk about coronavirus in one sentence, and in another sentence say it's not just going to be a dark winter, but a very dark winter. And I have here,
Is that because like the Earth is tilted further on its axis or something, or
I
is it?
have here just fresh in Biden's selections, incoming administration. He announces his key opponents, and nominations, appointments. And here we go. We've got Jesus, John Kerry for climate envoy. So climate envoy John Kerry. What do you think about that?
Herman Munster, John Kerry. Old Herman Munster. The Lurch. The Lurch. I don't know. I haven't heard of John Kerry for a while. What's he doing?
Yeah, what is John Kerry? Is he still living off all that climate change money?
I don't know. Is he still living in that old creepy house up there on the corner? What was the road? What's the name of the road that the Munsters lived on? I wish I could remember. I know it's trivia. I know the answer's out there. But,
how much money did John Kerry make off of climate change? What is it with these Democrats and making
that's
money?
all climate change is. It's just a big giant money laundering scheme, basically, wealth redistribution, and they're going to skim off the base in a nutshell, in a little pistachio shell. They're going to take the skim. No, they're going to take. Well, they're going to take most of it. They're going to take everything, folks. What the idea that this back here, this little bottle rocket, and things like that, can change a planet. A whole planet in space, in orbit around a star, is preposterous. Monumental claims require monumental proof. Your monumental proof is telling me that it's going to happen. You just wait and see. I've been waiting my entire goddamn life. I didn't want to talk about global warming this whole episode, Victrix. You can just interrupt me at any time if you want, but I'll go. I'll just keep going. It's been nearly 36 years that they've been trying to convince me that the world is on fire. And I, look, they say that the sea levels are going to rise, 10 feet in 100 years is what the threat is, ladies and gentlemen, over the course of a lifetime, of a human lifetime, even at a rate that low. That is an observable phenomenon.
I remember in the 9th grade, they were playing videos saying we were going to be living underground by like 99.
Yeah,
2000.
It's the same idiots all the time. They're the same people they want you to believe now, and the story never changes. We just get older and older. It's just fucking Chicken Little. What's the difference between the sky falling and the seas rising? What the fuck's the difference? It's just the line. You have the sky, you have the sea, you got the line. If the sky's falling, the line goes down, right? Or does the line go up? But in either case, one way it moves down, one way. Look, it's just, what's the difference? What the fuck's the difference? My God, when is it ever? Look, I live on a beach. I've been living on a beach my whole life. It's the same. I found pictures of this beach from the 30s. It looks the same. We used to live in Daytona Beach. I found pictures of Daytona Beach from the 1800s, ladies and gentlemen. They were landing Wright style airplanes, little canvas wing airplanes with these little putt motors and these little wooden propellers on the beach. And women were walking around these big giant frilly dresses and twirling parasols. And you can see markers that never change, pilings out there that are the same, and concrete seawalls and things like that. And there's tide, and they're the same, ladies and gentlemen. I've gone through hundreds of pictures. I found a treasure trove of pictures. I'll have to try and put them up somehow. I think I've got them in a Google Drive somewhere. But you can see since the 1800s, the tides have the same range as they ever did. Nothing changes. Ladies and gentlemen, after all this time, there should be some sort of measurable effect. Where's your fucking proof? Oh, forest fires in California. Oh my God. Well, global warming sure hates California. They sure hate liberals. All these things that liberals warn us about, they sure hate all these liberal places. But
no, it's funny, all those fires, they magically stopped at the US-Canada border and US-Mexico border. The fires were just in liberal areas, Democratic areas. I mean, is Antifa and BLM out setting fires and then, oh my God, or is this because they're not clearing the underbrush or whatever, like I'm hearing? Who's that? Governor Newsom's problem. But it's just not a, it's not a coincidence that all these fires are in these exact areas.
Well, listen, beyond that, a forest fire is not even evidence of arson. When you see a forest fire, you can't just say, oh, that's caused by arson. You have to go find evidence of arson. You have to find a point where the fire originated from and spread out, and then you have to find evidence of accelerant, like matches or gasoline or a campfire. You can't just see a forest fire and say arson, and they want to see.
What is that behind you?
Oh, that's some dudes, two workers reinflating raisins, and they're they're pumping them up with a little bicycle pump you can't really see down there. They're blowing them back up. They're raisins blowing them back up into grapes. Look, you can't see. I don't know. I can't come up with a fun metaphor for the background behind me. But you can't. Listen, folks. They say forest fire and cry global warming. My God, there's 1,000,001 steps between forest fire and global warming, folks. You can't even say forest fire and arson, you dum-dums. You believe anything on TV. Oh, my God. Those of you who believe this shit. Victrix, interrupt me. Say something.
Well, I'll tell you, Biden, just a couple days before the election popped off, he was saying how Florida was an out of control, crazy coronavirus freak show. I mean,
I don't know where.
Hospitals don't have supplies. Everybody's just out of control.
That's all lies. We know people that work in hospitals around here. Do you know anyone? I know. Let's see. Let me count in my head. I'll count on the screen. Let's see. My sister, whom you know, worked. She doesn't work there anymore, but we'll say up to about a month or two ago, she worked in the largest hospital in all of Sarasota County, and she worked there since the start of all this, up to about a month or two ago. And she says the place is fucking empty, and they're just laying people off because there's no reason to have them there because the place is fucking empty. And they've had something like 70 deaths at this hospital since the start of all this. Folks, are you telling me, I cannot believe this. People are telling me the hospitals are overloaded. First of all, they aren't.
I mean, come on, man. Traffic, abortions. I mean, there's flu deaths. There's so many people dying. And,
exactly, dude.
They're mixing the two. Look at all the false positives. These false positives are the problem.
Hey, but people don't people aren't even thinking that when my major hello out there. Hospitals, first of all, they aren't overloaded, but secondly, there's sick people in hospitals. Oh my God, there's sick people are you fucking kidding me? There's sick people in hospitals. Folks, welcome to life. Well, what the fuck's a hospital for, you dummies? You dum-dums? You idiots? Victrix.
Yeah, you're the one that went undercover and did your undercover work and went to all the hospitals around here. How many did you visit?
Well, we went to a few. 3. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a big deal because those are the ones that are around.
Yeah, and there's nobody there.
You drove, 30, 40 minutes to get to one of them.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. We went to the one in question, the one that my sister worked at. The one, and then we went to one a little bit north of there, and then one quite a ways south of there. And both in where they are saying these cases are happening around here. Look, we live in Old Peopleville, Florida, USA. We live in Old Peopleville, Florida, USA, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the oldest people in the world live here. The most susceptible to corona. Yes, they do, don't they?
No.
Oh, come on. Yes, they do.
Old people live here, but some of the oldest in the world.
So, look,
that was a good one.
So listen. This is a retirement community, okay? We're the odd ones out here. There's not much nightlife around here.
Well, I'll tell you what.
But the hospitals are empty.
Well, even in Orlando, Florida, where there's, in that whole Central Florida area, there's about 1 million people in all of Central Florida. I think that kind of picks up Melbourne and those Broward County. But I know I talked to someone recently that works in one of the major hospitals there, and she said right now they have about 70 people that have symptoms, that are, positive, false positive. They're in there and then they're out.
Symptoms. Okay, those are called cases.
Symptoms. They're cold. They have colds. No flu. Not a lot of flu reports.
It's astonishing how those numbers just dropped this year. They just disappeared. They just hold on.
But 72. And I think 400 over the year? Reports.
Cases, and
You
you're
know,
talking about someone
cases
who works at a hospital, local hospital that you know personally around here, right? Is that
in Orlando.
in Orlando? Okay, where you and I
About
both
of about 1 million people.
okay, where we used to hail from. I lived there for a little
Mhm.
while. I lived all over the state. So a million people live in Orlando. How many cases did you say they have there right now?
Well, not 1 million in Orlando
Well,
itself, but
in
all the
Orlando,
central, that whole region of Central Florida
all
is
right,
roughly 1 million
which is
people.
Orange County and some other, can't
Yeah,
remember
there's a couple
counties.
counties there. I think Seminole, Orange,
Seminole.
Seminole, Broward, Brevard,
Yeah.
Melbourne, whatever. Oh, Melbourne's not a county, is it?
I don't know. I used to live right there by Universal, right over there off of I don't know, something Kirkland,
Kirkman,
Kirkman.
Kirkman Avenue there. Orlando's crazy. It really is. The place is huge. Uh, it's definitely just a lot of people in their 20s and 30s. I would recommend if you are, 18 years old and you're heading out, go to Orlando. There's so many chicks there. There's so many women there for
It's
you
a fun little
guys,
town.
and it is the place to go. And it's
Well,
always
maybe it
happening.
was. I don't know about downtown. Ron
Well,
Burgundy.
I'll tell you what, it was pretty happening on the reggae rock scene, and the whole place, the whole city, the whole county, the whole place is
Oh, you had
just.
some spots down there, man. I don't know. You don't want to delve into your professional history, do you, with
But
your music?
well, no, but listen, it's a really happening place. You can go down there. It's magical. Anybody can have a good time down there.
But are you sure?
Everybody's
Is that still the
welcome down
case?
there.
No, listen. I heard
Well, you know
we
what?
have.
Times have changed. I watched times change over roughly 14 years
Yeah, but I mean,
there.
have you been
13.
there recently, like in the last month?
Yes. Well, no, I was there in the last month,
I'm
a little
talking
bit.
downtown. Have you been out for a drink, like
No,
out
no,
on
I was
Orange Avenue or something?
the last time I was downtown, I've played downtown.
Okay, so we have one of the program members here, our interim sound guy. He recently went to some places in Orlando, and he used to. I think he managed some places out there. Anyway, he was in the bar business up north for quite a while. Managed some restaurants. Was trying to get into the restaurant business, I believe, down here, and then COVID happened and threw everything out of whack, like it threw things out of whack for all kinds of people. So he knows a lot of the people who own those places out there in Orlando downtown, and he said they're laying people off. Places are closed up. Everything is dead. It's totally changed. He said so many places are gone. That's what he said.
Well,
He said, man.
there's a lot of building going on there. I'll tell you, they're always doing road work. Always.
Yeah,
Always doing road work. I mean, you
yeah.
pay just to drive. You pay to drive just about everywhere, unless it's through the neighborhoods. I mean, or you're going to go through the main
Yeah, you're talking about all
gut
those
of the
toll roads out
city.
there.
I mean, it can take a little while, but it's all a good drive. It's a good place. Get down there, check it out. We'll see.
All right, so but how many people you're saying? We got off a little tangent there. How many people are in the hospital out there with COVID? Or how many people died? Are we talking in Orlando? You had some number.
Well,
I
I
thought.
just know they have, 500 at one total
Okay,
at
so
one
let's
hospital
assume.
through the year.
Fine, whatever. Let's assume
Maybe
that this is
around 70 at the
okay.
moment.
So all do you think
Cases.
all these draconian measures, like things going on in California? Oh my God, California, those people need to go to prison. Californians, ladies and gentlemen, hey, this is an official WERV recommendation on the program from me. My name is Robbie Coates. I live in Florida. You Californians need to fucking revolt. You need to not comply with any of this. Just don't. And this is my understanding the sheriffs aren't going to enforce any of that finally out there now. Is that what's going on? So the governor, finally, right? So LA County. Oh, I saw it on TV today. West Hollywood Sheriff Department. He's not going to. Whew, I just almost got myself all. It's Victrix.
No need to worry. The sheriffs have woken up, and they did. You know what it is? The police departments and the sheriffs saw how these governors and mayors of these democratic cities were treating them. Okay. And they are the ones leading the charge to defund the police. They're the ones leading the charge against BLM and all these dangerous violent marches and clashes in the streets. So, what the police are saying is, hey, you liberals are trying to shut down the holidays, and guess what? We're not going to do your dirty work for you. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Training Day, where in the very end, Denzel Washington was trying to get people to do his dirty work for him, that he usually got to do it. And they said, you do your own dirty work. And he was done dirty. So that's it.
Oh man! So the sheriff. So
It
listen.
reminds me of some dirty movie, with like Mark Wahlberg playing the bad cop or something. Just that's what they remind you of. It's Washington's 11. We said it on the last show.
Yeah.
We're saying it on this show. They are. Biden's gathering his team just like on Ocean's 11. And this is Washington's 11 was what you're seeing. Biden's whole team. He's got John Kerry. He's going to scoop a position up. Are you kidding me? Talk about we're going to make no.
Yeah, it's just the same old, isn't it? This just sounds like
what's
the
the
fucking
cash flow? What's the cash flow going to be?
John Kerry, man. I haven't heard of John Kerry in forever. Doesn't this just sound like hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the same old shit. Welcome to
I'll tell you what.
Same old corruption.
Slam the brakes on the economy. See, what they're trying to do is fabricate a George Bush moment, like a Bush moment in 2008, and they think they're going to get
talking
that
about with Gore
economic crash esque feeling right now, and that's what Biden wants. That's what they want. They want to shut it down. They want these numbers to be so bad on January 21st or 22nd, 2021, so he can come out and say, "Oh,
listen,
I got it."
Listen, Victrix. I'm sorry for interrupting. The actual numbers, you just said numbers, and I just wanted to get some actual numbers out there. The odds, oh boy, and they're good. They're fudging so many numbers, folks. Victrix, did you know? I just wanted to say that there are actual documented cases here in Florida of them. What goes into the COVID count, what they call the case death rate. I think that's CDR. I think that's actual jargon terms. The case death rate. And that's the death rate for people who display symptoms, and then there's the infection death rate, which is people who just pop positive, maybe don't display symptoms, but they die. And so the infection death rate, I'm not sure which they pop, but okay, so the one of these in these, basically what you hear on the news, you're getting just death certificate publications that have COVID-19 listed on them. They could have died literally in a motorcycle crash. We've had examples of that here in Florida. They died in a motorcycle crash. But because
what is going on here? Is this just a big cash grab at the hospitals? This is part of their takeover. I mean, this is not a Republican-based thing happening. Like, there's no way the Republicans are behind any of this.
I don't know, man. I'm willing to believe a lot of things at this point because the world has gone insane.
Well, they're definitely scared of these people. I think people are getting threats. They are getting threats. People in Washington are, and it's Biden's street team doing it. It's his street team, his BLM street team. They'll go out and disrupt everybody's dinner. They'll go into
the gall. It's
Foods.
astonishing.
They'll go into a Whole Foods where all black people work and storm the place talking about black people. And it's just like, you are some dumb fucking idiots. The Black Lives Matter people are so dumb. And I think black people, and other minorities, like Spanish or the Latino vote, Trump had more this time than last time. So
I think Trump had more of everything than last time.
They tried their best to turn the black community against Trump, and all they did was unite it behind Trump. And I'll tell you what, I just these people are out of their minds. They are truly out of their minds. They're legalizing heroin in places like, I think,
Yeah,
Portland.
heroin and cocaine, I think, in Oregon, Portland.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, well, it's for a gram or for an ounce or for a small little whatever it is, a bit on a spoon or something. It's like,
Yeah, while they have the jazz
do you
chop
realize?
ceremony.
Do you realize people are like, oh, well, that's legal. Let's get a gram. And you do one little tiny bit of that shit and you're gonzos. You're
Yeah.
fucking just another skeleton scab on the street, with frickin' Governor Newsom and Pelosi walking by throwing mush at you to eat, and fresh needle refills. I mean, who are these people? They ought to be ashamed of themselves. They really should. I mean,
It is audacious.
Trump's out here promoting hard work. Trump promotes, everybody knows it. There's no comparison, Trump, to even this guy up here, Obama. He's never run a business or done anything. It's all been about himself.
I don't know where the fuck he came from. I don't know who he is or where he came from.
In Jakarta, India. It's all about him. Everything's about him. Everything's about changing everything. He's a socialist communist. He's a weirdo. His whole crew, he's part of the Ocean's 11 crime organization. And all these people should be ashamed of themselves. They have no actual business experience to be into this White House. You shouldn't be allowed in the White House without some business experience. You shouldn't be, community organizer. I mean, come on.
I don't know who he is. I don't know where he came
He's
from.
a community
All of a sudden,
troublemaker.
Barack Obama's president. What the fuck? Who's Barack Obama? He was a senator for 2 years. Never heard of the guy. All of a sudden, he's on the fucking presidential ticket. Who the fuck is this guy? I don't know.
He's Barry Hussein is who he is. He's Barry. That's who he really is. He's Barry.
Yeah. He has a. Where does it? What country in Africa does his brother live in? Is that? I don't want to.
Well, that would be Kenya.
Kenya. That's what I thought. I didn't want to.
Right.
Didn't want to be wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's Kenya.
Well, okay. You know what,
they
ladies
have
and gentlemen?
Kenyan birth certificate floating around.
Yeah, and if it's another place, ladies and gentlemen, the official WERV stance is who the fuck cares? Who gives a damn? He has a brother who lives abroad in Africa, and he says Obama's basically, in a nutshell, full of shit. Right? Isn't that what he says?
Yeah, he's actually, I'm pretty sure he's a conservative Republican, and he's always demanding information from his brother. And yeah, who knows? Who knows? There's so much information on Obama that isn't information on Obama. Like, you just don't know with him. And it's all seems there's about 3 different sets of stories on Obama.
Yeah.
And, everybody knows who his mom was and his grandparents. And from there, the whole story's a big mystery. We know who his mother is. We know who his grandparents are, because that's who raised him while his mother was out partying, doing the cha-cha. So while
I don't actually know a whole lot about it. I never looked into the Barack Obama genealogy. I just didn't. I'm aware of it. Continue.
That's where the whole Barry Soetoro came from. Once they started messing, once she started doing porn with.
No, I didn't know that. Really?
His mother, yeah, yeah. She. At least whatever you would call it back then, like porn or naked porn.
I have no idea. And they get all over Melania for having some.
I forget the name. It's been a while. I was heavy into that. I knew all their names back a few years back, but oh geez, But
So,
anyways, that's when they went to, like, I think Jakarta for a minute, and that's when they gave him the name Barry Soetoro.
so
He had the
hold on a minute.
Muslim.
Hold on a minute. Is Barack Obama a porn baby? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Barack Obama a porn baby?
No, but his mom, she likes to get out and do her thing, I guess.
I see. I see. I see.
Whatever,
Mm.
whatever. I'm just saying I'm just saying, as a grown boy, it was his grandparents that raised him, not so
Gotcha.
much her, I believe.
Okay.
From what I can gather,
From what
from
we
all the
from what we
information, from
can
like
gather.
eight different documentaries and tons of research. I mean, there's so many potential stories on this guy. I mean, with the thing about Trump is there's one story, it's all accessible. There's a lot of people to talk to. There's a lot of witnesses. He has the same doctor since he was a kid. Everything. I mean, all the people at college have nothing but nice things to say about him. He never did anything. He never partied and never did anything.
The man's never had a
But
drink.
he just works. He just works. I mean, Obama, dude, first off, not only is Obama not even half the man Trump is, Biden Biden is a arm flailing liberal, just like the rest of them in there. They're troublemakers, they're rude, they're criminals. They use the presidency for power grabs and to make money. And, they're protected by the press. I don't know why anybody would want to protect these people. They're straight criminals.
It
Who are
is
they really?
some sort
Who
of
are they really?
derangement,
Ugh,
some sort of
ugh,
delusion, some sort of.
ugh. Some of their ideas, and it's like once they start rolling out all these known failures, like John Kerry and his failed climate disaster.
Things ought
He
to be
had the
sinking
wrong
in. Things ought to be coming.
he had the wrong temperatures for the core of the earth and stuff, and it's all a
These people don't
sham.
know anything. I cannot
and,
believe.
and and that's who Biden has as his guy. That's who Biden has as his guy.
So
I'll
just
tell you
somebody who's
what.
always been there. Just another one of the old gang. This is what we're.
Washington's 11.
Anyway, moving on. I just want to talk about real quick. What do you? I'm so sick of being called a racist all the time. Don't you think this is unhealthy? Don't you think? What do you think about the left? I mean, just today, and then there's the vaccines. We're quickly shifting to vaccines. I know we're running out of time here. We're 40 minutes on the show, Victrix. But if you want to touch on either
Yeah,
one
well,
of them.
yeah, everything's conveniently happening for Mr. Biden, I would say. Everything's just so convenient, and the guy's literally carried everywhere he's going. If you think about it, with the press has to doctor him up, and the way
A lot of
everything's
doctoring.
he's a hand-fed puppet. That's what Biden is. He's your classic hand-fed puppet, and Trump is it. That's what they don't like about him.
Yeah, they can't
Uh,
control Trump.
oh, they can't control him. Oh, you bet they can't.
Oh,
Um,
Twitter, man. Do you remember how I just wanted to say once during the show? Do you remember? Because I was thinking about this today. I remember vividly. I remember so clearly how lame and boring and how on its way out the door Twitter was before the Trump presidency, before Trump had to turn to Twitter to get his words out without being censored. That was the original platform where Trump could go and the media couldn't stop him. They couldn't intercept the Trump message to the Trump to the American people. They could not intercept the Trump message and modify it, and they hated
that's
Twitter.
where he went to get
Yeah,
his message out and not be censored. Exactly. And then
but
all of
that
a
made
sudden,
Twitter
I think they,
skyrocket, man.
it did make him skyrocket. And some of these Twitter guys, these Antifa Twitter guys, these BLM Twitter guys that work there and pretty much own it, they found out, hey, we can use this against our opponent. Why they're being political, these 20-year-old punks, but
Yeah,
whatever.
you mean Do you think they were always there? They infiltrated it, or well, Trump haters for a
Well,
while.
I think they just realized,
Just realized. Yep. Mm-hmm.
that's who they're backing, and they, they just figured, well, we got control of this, and
Yeah,
we're
it is that
liberals in the
crowd.
Democrat Party, and we're going to help them by doing this, and we can start shutting Trump out, and no one's going to do anything about it because we're helping them,
I think they were
and they're
afraid to.
criminals.
I think they would have done it sooner. I think they would have
Well,
done it
listen,
sooner.
folks, this is Washington's 11. I'm going to do. I'm going to send you off here, Rob. This is Washington's 11. Biden's gathering his team. He's doing it right now. Now we're hearing John Kerry's going to be on it. Something to do with climate change. I mean, Obama and Biden are failed climate change people as it is. They ran a huge part of their campaign on it. They spent a lot of time and money on it and got nowhere. Most of the companies, or all of them, every single one of them went upside down. None of them really worked. They were all cash grab schemes. I'm sure some people got rich that helped Obama get elected. We want to see everybody in purple, if you remember that. Um,
In purple.
these
Vaguely.
people are all controlled. Yeah, these people are controlled. They're all controlled. They're all bought out. They're all special interest, and they're puppets. So Trump's the first real president that we've had in a long time, and he's the first one that's actually went to work for the people. That's why the economy's been absolutely slamming since the day he came in. You know, I feel like there's kind of a fog in the streets. The moment we kind of seen that Biden's numbers surpass Trump's, whether that's real or not, there's been a fog. There has been.
It's not real.
That Trump hitting on all 12 cylinders. Trump's a V12. You're hitting on all 12 cylinders. That feel of just Trump's in office, operate as if things were normal. You can't do that right now. We don't know if this weird, weird, weird Biden agenda is going to take effect here soon. BLM raids, BLM this, BLM that, racial justice this, racial justice that, folks. We don't want it. We don't need it. We're not going to take it. We're not going to stand for it. The sheriffs aren't listening to you. The police department is not listening to you, liberal governors, with your power grab. They're not going to enforce what you want to do. You want to ruin the holidays for everybody. They're not going to do it. We're not going to let it happen here on WERV. Rob, this was a good show because I think people need to know that the sheriffs and the police are hitting back. I'm the Victrix. Good night, America.
Yeah,
Rob,
they just.
back to you.
The Victrix, before you go, they just outlawed alcohol for the holidays in Pennsylvania. I think alcohol
Excuse
ban,
me?
alcohol ban,
I'll come
alcohol.
back for that. Excuse me?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Victrix. It is, yes, sir, an alcohol ban. And now the
I'll
guy
tell you.
who's
You know what? I can't. I am not even going to go there. That's fresh, brand new news. I did
Pennsylvania.
hear that earlier. I didn't go there. I didn't remember to go there on that. There's so much stuff from the past 12 years of these people, 15 years. We'll go into that. Let's see where that goes. We'll come back into that next show. We'll
Yeah,
see
that's going
where
to be
this all
interesting.
goes. We have Thanksgiving coming up in a few days. We might be back before then, or on Thanksgiving Day, or Friday. Big Black Friday. Big Black Friday coming up. Big Black Friday coming up, folks. We'll see you here. Good night, America. Rob, take it away.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. We play it by ear here every time that I guarantee we're going to be on someday. It's guaranteed that we're not, so I'm just not going to go there. But we'll be on very soon again, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, no alcohol, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania governor announced that. I saw that today. Folks, does anyone know any American history? Do I even have to say the word prohibition? God damn it, ladies and gentlemen. People of Pennsylvania, you have to ignore this shit. You have to. You're Americans. You know it's wrong. You know they're wrong. Okay. You know that they are breaking the law and not you. Okay, they will be punished. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just go about your lives. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, here's the facts. The only way to ever live a normal life ever again is to just live a normal life. It's the only way. It's the only way. You have to take off the masks. You're hurting your children. You're hurting your children. Do you remember what it's like to be a young kid? I'm talking kindergarten, first grade. I remember I have this memory when I was a first grader. Out on the field somewhere, we were playing like some flag football or something like that, or it was I don't know, field day. There was some event going on, but anyway, I remember at that age. Listen, folks, the kids that age, their world is largely magical. Their world, the reality that they live in, is made up of is its foundations are stories that they make up in their heads, and it's real to them. And they believe things that adults tell them, even though they don't understand them. They got to fill in the gaps themselves, and it's invariably wrong or fantastic. But they believe it, ladies and gentlemen. Look, when you're a first grader, you don't even have a concept, a firm grasp on what death is yet. And it may have been kindergarten, but I'm pretty sure it was first grade. Folks, I remember I had a grasp on death at that point, but it's happening around then. And there was this friend of mine out there with me, and I was telling a story about getting stung by a wasp. And I said I got stung by a wasp. He's like, "Oh my God, did you die?" I'm like, "No, I didn't die. What do you mean, did I die? Here I am. I didn't die." And he's like, "Well, you could have. Well, you didn't. You mean you didn't die? You know, he didn't." And he was serious. And being a first grader, I couldn't articulate his error I couldn't help him very much. I remember being kind of stunned back then that he thought that you could die from being stung by a wasp, that you couldn't come back. But anyway, my point is, these kids who are that age, their worlds, they don't understand things, folks. Right now, all of a sudden, first, this what's going on in the world, with what they would have you believe with coronavirus is not possible, ladies and gentlemen. New things do not appear on planet Earth. It flies in the face of everything you know. Human beings do not witness evolutionary leaps. Human beings have never witnessed an evolutionary leap, and we never will. Those things take eons. They happen under our noses, and we never even realize. To any living human being, past, present, or future, any living generations of human beings, the world is always going to appear to be the same as it ever was. Okay? We have to infer these things that have happened through history. We don't even, if something were to jump from a bat to a human, that takes on the order of 1,000 years to happen in nature, if it happens, ladies and gentlemen. If it happens, there is no proof that happens, that viruses mutate right in front of our eyes to infect brand new species. Okay? There's no experiment you can do to prove it. You don't put a bat in a cage next to a human, a bat that's sick, and wait for the human to get sick. You don't isolate a virus in a bat and inject it into a human and see if the human gets sick. You can't prove that this happens, ladies and gentlemen. This is all assumption. And we're ruining people's lives over it. Ladies and gentlemen, nature. Nature, ladies and gentlemen, viruses, there's nothing new. There's nothing we can't handle. Okay, all the terrible stuff, all the one in a, all the big time viruses that were real big threats to people, that were one of a kind, that you could vaccinate for because they're one of a kind. Okay, we eliminated them. We don't have anything to worry about anymore, like polio. All right, smallpox. All right, effectively eliminated. There are thousands of coronaviruses, maybe thousands and thousands of coronaviruses. They cause the common cold. How are you going to, why is there how come there's no immunity to the flu? Why is there flu vaccine every year? Why is there flu shot every year? There's so many flu viruses. There's so many cold viruses. What the fuck are we locking everything down for? What are you going to do? I have never had a flu virus or flu shot in my life. I never get the flu. Never had a flu shot. Never will have a flu shot. I think it's weird. I don't want a flu shot. I'm not going to get a flu shot. If they didn't make me get vaccines and for all kinds of things growing up, I don't know if I would have. I don't want a flu shot. Never needed one. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in vaccines that are obviously real, like polio, you know, smallpox. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but there is a lot of dogma out there, and there's a lot of made-up shit. And, once you run out of viruses to vaccinate for, what does your multi-billion-dollar industry do? What are you vaccinated against? A fucking coronavirus. One of 1,000 fucking coronaviruses. I don't even think they can distinguish them, ladies and gentlemen. If you know anything about virology, all you can do is read some books. Just go read some books, folks. You can know all kinds of stuff about virology without being a virologist. They write books, ladies and gentlemen. They publish them. They want you to read them. Go find one. For Pete's sake. This kind of stuff doesn't happen. There are all kinds of people with all kinds of fancy titles and all kinds of letters after their names trying to say that this is not what happens in nature, but they don't have the exposure on television because the whole TV monopoly network is against them, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a few people that decide what goes on TV. Everyone's boxes, everyone's television boxes, idiot boxes, as a teacher of mine used to call them. It's just a few people that decide what appears on the idiot box in everyone's homes throughout the world. They don't like Donald Trump. Well, they're not gonna put good things about Donald Trump on the TV. They have an agenda. It's obvious. It's obvious. The internet is the greatest threat they've ever faced. Donald Trump has accelerated their plans. I'm just going to ramble forever. I could do a whole nother show. Folks, you got to take off the masks. What I was trying to get at there is coronavirus there's nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing new. How does a virus begin in China and it's nowhere and it starts at one place on the globe and then in under 2 months it's everywhere on the globe? They're recording it in every country in the world with the exception of North Korea and one other country, of course, which it's folks, this is also ridiculous. So every country, let's just say every country in the world under 2 months, every county in America under 2 months, and yet it came from one point on the globe. So if it's that virulent, if it got around the world that quickly, how come everybody I know doesn't have it? How did it get everywhere so fast, and yet it's nowhere? Yet there's no threat everywhere. Like people aren't dying in the streets. Local hospital, not overwhelmed. My sister works there, not overwhelmed. It's a lie. They're not. They're laying people off. Place is fucking empty. It's like that. I know people that work in hospitals in other states. It's the same way. I know people that live in Los Angeles. Mr. Anonymous, who we have on the show sometimes. Nobody he knows out there is sick. That's supposed to be one of the most deadly places in the world right now. Nobody's sick. Nobody knows anybody who's sick. You're 1 in a million if you do. Maybe not, that's a figure of speech. It's probably not that high. I think the odds here were in the hundreds of thousands range. Odds of dying, 1 in some hundreds of thousands, whereas the odds of winning the lottery was 1 in 200 some thousand. Anyway, it was an order of magnitude difference, but it's ridiculous. Ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Your children. You remember what it's like to be a kid? This kid didn't know. He said, yeah, he thought I died, even though I was standing there right next to him. So when you tell them, let's presume for the moment that it's not possible for this to happen in nature, and it's not. Folks, now these kids whose worlds are largely imagined, this will be real for them forever. You'll traumatize your children. They live in a world now where they believe that at the drop of a hat, their friends can become dangerous to them. What is that going to do to them psychologically as they grow up? Well, first of all, kids need to see parents. The adults wearing masks will harm kids too. They need to see each other's faces. They need to see your faces for their brains to develop properly. Do you not think that facial expression is one of the most profoundly important parts of communication with other human beings? Ladies and gentlemen, children have to learn this stuff. Their brains have to become familiar with this stuff. These are critical moments in a child's life. To do this to them for a day is child abuse. It is wrong. You're destroying, you're murdering, tantamount to murder. You're destroying the stable adults that they will become, that they would have become. For certain age groups, it's too late. They don't have the mental resources. They don't have the ability to cope with this sort of thing, this sort of trauma. They will grow up having problems forming relationships, problems with intimacy. Many will be sociopaths. Many will turn out to be genuine sociopaths. They'll harm people. They won't be able to empathize with other people. Everyone's going to have anger management issues, all of them. Does anybody know any psychiatrists, psychologists? Go ask them. I guarantee you they're saying these things. I've been saying these things from day one. I don't think you have to be a psychiatrist, to come to these reasonable conclusions, ladies and gentlemen. Parents, you can't do this to your kids. You're going to destroy the world. You're going to destroy the world. And to that end, ladies and gentlemen, if you take off the masks, all you have to do is take off the masks and you'll save the world. Just take off the masks and you'll save the world. The future of all humanity exists solely in the minds of young children. At any stage in life, the children of the world are the future of the world. It's not just rhetoric, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real fundamental truth, and you are destroying an entire generation of people for nothing because you've been tricked, because you've been fooled. Your eyes are the most sophisticated scientific instruments in the universe, ladies and gentlemen. Your eyes. You rely on your eyes and your five senses to explore the universe and to read every other scientific instrument that we develop, ladies and gentlemen. It's your eyes, it's your personal experience. It's called empirical data. That is the most valuable scientific data that you can see and taste and touch and smell and hear and sense yourself. It's real. It's reality. Reality is a thing that happens in your head. It is dependent on your senses. To that end, your eyes are the most sophisticated scientific instruments in the universe. You yourself are a scientific instrument. Ladies and gentlemen, your senses aren't lying to you. Everywhere you go, from horizon to horizon, from literal horizon to horizon, everywhere you stand, if you look this way and you go that way, and you look the other way and you go that way, and you do that throughout this whole circle, you won't find any, and you do that all over the globe, you won't find any evidence of any danger anywhere you go. There's no evidence of any danger from horizon to horizon, no matter where you go, after all this time, even after all this time. From horizon to horizon, no matter where you go, the world is the same as it ever was, except everyone's gone insane. There's a bunch of zombies wearing masks everywhere, but they're all fucking fine. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.